Mr. Secretary, I'd like to ask you about Western and East Asian military situation and the fundamental policy of the United States in coming years. The first, Chinese military expansion, and even North Korea has nuclear and missile. Your fundamental policy towards that region change since both antagonistic country has serious weapon system?
Well, I think that the attitude that the Obama administration is bringing to this to the subject of the North Korean nuclear threat to the region is perhaps overly hopeful about the role that that international players can play in pressuring the North Koreans. And I think that when President Obama was running for election, he made a great emphasis on the value of diplomacy and multilateral institutions, and he criticized the Bush administration for being skeptical of some of these multilateral approaches. I think that when we look now, a year later, we see that the diplomatic approach of the Obama administration has not resulted in any significant change in North Korea, and the North Koreans are continuing to develop their nuclear capabilities. They are continuing to develop their missile capabilities. It's a problem. It's a problem, by the way, that the Bush administration did not have a tremendous success with either. And I think that what we're seeing is that the Obama administration is learning that it's a much harder problem than it suggested when President Obama was candidate Obama in the election campaign. But it remains an extremely serious problem. And then you have the as you were suggesting, the ongoing challenges of Chinese military developments, and I'll be happy to discuss those with you also.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have same observation as you say. Bush administration has very strong and healthy attitude toward the adversary parties. But Mr. Obama, he think if the United States is nice, other part must be nice. If United States decrease the number of the nuclear weapon, other country also decrease the nuclear weapon. That means U.S. forces in the Pacific in the futures decreasing, or the United States Obama administration has a second thought on the maintaining strong military forces in Asia?
My understanding is the Obama administration will continue to maintain strong U.S. military capabilities in Asia. And I certainly hope they will do so. My understanding is that's what they want to do. The nuclear point, though, that you made is an important one. I think that the Obama administration has said a number of things that are naive about nuclear weapons. And they have held out this vision of a nuclear-free world, which I think is an unrealistic notion. Now, it happens to be that when you look carefully at the statements of some of the leading commentators and former American national security officials who have endorsed this idea of a nuclear-free world, when you look carefully at their statements, you realize they have all kinds of qualifications that make it clear that it's quite unrealistic to suppose that we're going to reach a nuclear-free world. I still think it's irresponsible for people to endorse the concept of a nuclear-free world that they themselves realize is, for all practical purposes, unachievable. Because what happens is you're promoting a very simple and I think ultimately dangerous notion that you then try to make less dangerous by qualifying it with all kinds of details that don't get as much publicity as the overall nuclear-free world slogan gets. And I think that I've been unhappy when I hear President Obama and his national security team talk about a nuclear-free world. I think it's really irresponsible rhetoric.
I see. Now, Mr. Secretary, I'd like to ask you about the contingency in Asia and the Pacific. Long time, most serious contingency in Far East and the Pacific is Peninsula of Korea. North Korea invaded and the big war, and Taiwan Strait. Maybe China tried to capture Taiwan. Still, to contingency is most serious things you are thinking in the Pacific?
I think those are definitely at the top of the list.
But once Mr. Rumsfeld said, we do not keep the troops in Korea indefinitely. Still, your country planning to withdraw the troops from Korea?
Well, I don't think he said that we would not keep them there indefinitely. What I understand the Secretary Rumsfeld said was, we have a single force for the entire world. We don't have forces that are allocated specifically for one contingency. So the troops that we have in Korea are not just for a Korean contingency, and the troops that we have in Europe are not just for European contingencies. We have one force all over the world that can be used for whatever contingencies are required. So troops that are in Europe, troops that are in the United States, troops that are in the Middle East could be used for a Korean contingency, for example, if we needed one. And we've seen examples where a brigade that had been in Korea was sent to the Middle East. And so the concept that he was trying to promote understanding of was that we have a single global force.
I see. How about Chinese military? Now that China has so much missile on the island, the opposite coast of Taiwan, and that the missile can hit Okinawa. Before the Okinawa has been supply and reinforcement bases in case of the contingency on the front line. But U.S. forces in Okinawa might be imminent danger, attack of Chinese missile. Does change your fundamental strategy in Okinawa in Asia?
The Chinese missile capability, which is growing at a worrisome pace, does change our situation in Asia. It changes the security picture. And there are things that need to be done to take into account this increasing Chinese capability. And some of the things are in the defense area. Some of the things relate to basing and where we're putting things. Some of the considerations relate to the range of U.S. aircraft, and extremely importantly, they relate to the capabilities of the U.S. Navy